Surrounded by the beautiful Rocky Mountains, it's time to jump into winter. Hi, I'm Brenda Buglione, and we've got a great show lined up for you this week. We took a chairlift ride with up-and-coming free skier Aaron Blunk. Plus, we'll tag along with the crew from Warren Miller as they take a trip to Squaw Valley, California. All that and a whole lot more is on the way. Stay tuned, you're watching Snow Motion.
Would it be easier if we had no shoes, no time to kill, and nothing to lose, and no worries but the great blue sky, and looking for shade when the sun gets high. We're climbing up that coconut tree. If it's time for one of nature's treats, would it be easier?
Being 40 feet above the half pipe is insane. You see the crowd, you see the ground, you see the trees, flipping, twisting, somehow land on your feet. It's really the best feeling in the world. Some people say my style is effortless, but it's kind of my dirty secret that it really isn't. How are you going to take it from being good to being great? You have to train harder and go bigger. It's extra time on the slopes, falling, getting up and doing it again. It's the way I ski, the way I choose to express myself, and the way I live my life.
What we've done at Surefoot is really changed the way that you get ski boots.
The sun shines bright.
This boot is made for your foot. The difference is amazing. You'll ski better, they're better fitting, better skiing than anything you've ever experienced.
I woke up feeling great. Today was made for me. And life is good the way it should.
Snow Motion is brought to you by The New Mitch by Paul Mitchell. Style isn't born, it's groomed. And by Surefoot. Better fitting, better skiing. Each week we get to do something pretty cool. We ride up the mountain with some passionate people. This week we took the chairlift with a young free skier, Aaron Blunk. Check this out. Today's Snow Motion chairlift ride is with a free skier. We've never had one on our show before, and this is Aaron Blunk. So you've been out here training this morning. What are you working on?
Just kind of having fun through the half pipe. Been a pretty hectic comp season so far, this like January and into February. So I've been kind of just hanging out right now, just working on some tricks and just having fun. So.
Well, we just heard that you came off the X Games.
Yeah.
How'd you do?
I did well for my first X Games. Made finals, which was my goal, and accomplished it, and then I got 7th in finals. So.
And I heard you're the youngest free skier out there.
Yeah, I'm youngest by about 6 months.
Aaron, did you know you were going to get into the X Games?
I did not actually. This year I was kind of just hoping to like make as many finals as I possibly could and just do like the best I could, and then all of a sudden I got a 3rd place at the North Face Park and Pipe Series this year at Copper earlier in the year in December, and then in January I got 2nd place at a World Cup, and so after that we headed up to Whistler for like where there was a qualifier there, and I ended up getting the invite right before the competition, so I was able to like pull out of that and let my friend Alex Ferrer get a spot. But it was kind of just like out of the blue. I kind of had no clue about it this year. So,
what's the vibe being at the X Games? It seems like all the top guns are there, and the media's there, and the cameras, and you're just in the center of a lot of fun competition.
It's definitely a little bit scary because it's kind of intimidating. Like the whole way down the pipe, there's like fans cheering for you, and it's pretty crazy to think about. Like, as 16 years old, like. Just going in and being the young gun, and yeah, it's a little intimidating, but it's also really fun. So. Do
free skiers specialize in the pipe or the slope style, or some of them do everything?
There's a couple athletes, Gus Kenworthy, Josh Christensen, Tornado Wallace, like they're kind of a triple threat, and they do slope style, big air, and half pipe. I would like to be able to do slope style, big air, and half pipe, but kind of just taking it one step at a time, just doing half pipe first, and then hopefully I'll work my way up and be able to do all three.
Specialized.
Yeah.
So what do you do to prepare for that?
We do like a lot of dry land training in the fall, a lot of trampoline, like bouncing on trampolines, to like get the motion of our tricks for snow. And then we have an airbag here in Vail, which is helpful to use because we're able to just like jump into the airbag and like do all of our tricks without getting hurt, which is super sweet. And then kind of from there, once you feel comfortable, you bring it to snowing, so.
Well, I love you using the airbag because you can really challenge yourself and do something that you've never done before, knowing you're gonna be okay. Yeah. Have you been hurt before?
I have. I had like a shoulder problem last year, and it's still kind of reoccurring every now and then, but it's all good.
Have you ever been a boarder?
I used to snowboard when I was younger. Did it for about 2 years. Kind of like off and on would switch between skiing and snowboarding, and then kind of just decided to keep with skiing because I was better at it.
So describe some of your crazy or most challenging tricks.
Lately I've been working on a double cork 1260, which is flipping and spinning twice while spinning up to 1260-degree rotation. And then I've also been doing an alley-oop dub flat 9, which is instead of like spinning down the pipe, you're spinning back up the pipe, flipping twice in like a backflip rotation kind of with a 900.
Are you ever afraid?
I used to like kind of more get afraid when I was like younger, but now it's kind of like just kind of grown into it, and I realize like the risk of the sport, like definitely gonna crash and take your falls, but just got to get back up and keep trying them. So it's getting less and less scary.
And it's probably second nature, like riding a bike, doing those.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Now, what about school?
School's been a little bit of a challenge, just because I've been gone so much this second semester. First semester I got done and it was good, and then this semester I haven't been there until this week, which is the first week back. So.
And now, what's your next competition?
Next competition is in Sochi, Russia.
Oh, wow. You're good for it. Did you make the Olympic team yet, or?
They've not decided the Olympic team yet. There's still like the rest of this year with the World Cups, and then into about next year, about January is when they're gonna pick the team.
All right. Well, we're gonna be cheering for you in the Olympics next year. Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Stay tuned to Snow Motion. After the break, we're going to introduce you to one of the greatest women skiers of all time. Who is it? Stick around and you'll find out. You're watching Snow Motion.
Squaw Valley and Alpine Meadows have combined to offer 6,000 acres, 43 lifts, and 10 terrain parks in one amazing winter setting. Stay in the village at Squaw Valley, just steps from the lifts, and enjoy all that the North Lake Tahoe region has to offer. Squaw Valley and Alpine Meadows. Plan your extraordinary winter adventure.
Being 40 feet above the half pipe is insane. You see the crowd, you see the ground, you see the trees, flipping, twisting, somehow land on your feet. It's really the best feeling in the world. Some people say my style is effortless, but it's kind of my dirty secret that it really isn't. How are you going to take it from being good to being great? You have to train harder and go bigger. It's extra time on the slopes, falling, getting up and doing it again. It's the way I ski, the way I choose to express myself, and the way I live my life.
Welcome back to Snow Motion. Thanks for staying with us. Squaw Valley, California often gets over 40 feet of snow, and that makes for some really good skiing. Warren Miller Entertainment knows how to capture this winter playground. Take a look at this.
Squaw Valley is one of those places where on any given day, you're likely to see someone do something totally crazy. But people have been doing crazy stuff here for so long, whatever it was you just saw, it's probably been done plenty of times before.
Okay, cameras are ready. Copy?
If the name Tom Day sounds familiar to you, it might be because you've seen a lot of Warren Miller movies. For 24 years, he's been an integral part of the film's camera crew. But as grateful as we are to how he makes us look good every year, he's equally grateful to his home mountain. Because year after year, it makes his job so easy.
It's hard to believe that I've been in squad now for almost 30 years. It just seems like it went like that.
As a DP on these films, we trust him implicitly. Because for years, Tom was in the movies. And more often than not, the movies were in Squaw.
I remember when I first came in here, I hooked up with a bunch of great skiers, and Scott Schmidt was one of them.
It's open time down on Fascination Street. So let's cut the conversation and get out for a bit.
30 years later, we're still going out there every day and having a blast.
Michelle Parker.
Best alarm clock ever. Whenever they're bombing, you know there's some snow on the ground. It's a good sign.
Tim Dutton.
You know when the windows are shaking, when you can hear those sounds, that it's time to come play if you want to.
JT Home.
That sound in the morning, it just pumps you up. You just know it's going to be a good day.
And once the patrol's done its job, it's the skiers' turn to bomb the mountain.
I'm the bomb and I'm about to blow up.
Something really strange and indescribable about this place, but it's the only place on the whole planet where I don't get bored. KT-22 is my favorite chairlift, and I'm sure I'm not alone. That single chairlift could be a ski resort all on its own.
JT, Michelle, and Tim are heirs to a Squaw legacy, passed down by Tom, Scott Schmidt, and Robbie Huntoon. And those guys were heirs to a legacy passed down by guys like Wayne Wong and the original Hot Doggers. But none of them have ever seen an 800-inch winter in Lake Tahoe until this year.
Body's just aching from the nonstop skiing, but it's just so good you can't say no. It's like, it's like a bad habit or something. You just gotta go out there and ski.
Yeah, we had a few powder days. Just a few. You never really know what you're gonna get. You always hope for the best, but when it snows in the Sierras, it comes down hard. In multiple feet. It's just non-stop. It keeps coming, and sometimes there's no wind in sight, which I don't have a problem with. So yeah, I mean, I think my legs are pretty close to peekaboo street size now after skiing so many days in a row.
Half the community here, they hang out during the summer and they have construction jobs just so that they can take the winter off. It's not about you have a college degree and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's, you know, what you're supposed to be doing in squads. You're supposed to be getting the winter off to go pal skiing.
She's considered one of the greatest women skiers of all time. She's Lindsey Vonn. She's won 4 World Cup titles and gold at the 2010 Winter Olympics. But what is Lindsey Vonn like when she's not in her ski boots?
I've thrown around the idea for a couple years now, and it's always something that I've wanted to do. I just didn't know exactly when I would be able to do it or when a good time would be. So I called FIS and I said, hey, you know, this is something I'm thinking about doing. How do I do it? You know, who do I talk to? Then it went to the FIS council meeting, and then it was, you know, in the media the next day and exploded. And unfortunately, you know, in their final FIS council meeting, they denied my request. Their answer was also disappointing in the sense that they said the reason why I can't race with the men is because I'm a woman. It wasn't because it's not safe for a woman to run with the men. It was because simply I'm a woman. So I have a big problem with that. And, you know, I'm not the kind of person that you know, takes those kinds of answers. And I'm a fighter, and I'm going to continue to fight for this. If I were able to race with the men, there'd be a lot at stake. There's a lot on the line, and my reputation's on the line, honestly. But that's what I live for. I love that stuff. You know, I love high pressure situations, and I'm not doing it for publicity because that wouldn't really make any sense. I mean, if I'm gonna do it and get last place, that doesn't do anyone any good. You know, I train with the men a lot. I'm pretty competitive with them, and I'm gonna keep going and keep fighting, and hopefully I can eventually one day ski with the men.
Don't change that channel, because when we come back, we're going to give you a secret tip from one of the best. Stay tuned.
What we've done at Surefoot is really changed the way that you get ski boots.
The sun shines bright.
This boot is made for your foot. The difference is amazing. You'll ski better. They're better fitting, better skiing than anything you've ever experienced.
I woke up feeling great. Today was made for me. And life is good the way it should.
Squaw Valley and Alpine Meadows have combined to offer 6,000 acres, 43 lifts, and 10 terrain parks in one amazing winter setting. Stay in the village at Squaw Valley, just steps from the lifts, and enjoy all that the North Lake Tahoe region has to offer. Squaw Valley and Alpine Meadows. Plan your extraordinary winter adventure.
Snow Motion is brought to you by GoPro, the world's most versatile camera. Wear it, mount it, love it. And by Loveland Ski Area, so close to home. You can always stay connected to Snow Motion. Go to snow-motion.com. For this week, we have our special guest, Johnny Mosley, to give us a mogul tip. You know, I wasn't a mogul skier, obviously, but when I do a mogul tip for television, I'm like, you know, and I say I was a slalom skier, but is it right to say the quicker your hands, the quicker your feet? And your hands are key, right? In terms of the speed.
Totally, and you have, I mean, super quick feet, and so that's good. You know, you'd be great. You should have been a mogul skier. You got the freestyle personality too. You know what I mean? Those racers are all like sticks in the mud.
Yeah.
So, but here,
yeah.
if you ever
okay,
mogul tip, this Russian guy invented this little tip right here, which is key. Not only you gotta flick your wrist, but let the pole flick out too. You see that little move?
Yeah.
And then what that does, gets the tip of the pole to the back side of the mogul so that it's lower. So when you ski by it, your hand doesn't come up and back in your ear.
Right, like everyone goes like this.
Everyone
and then...
plants on top.
Yes.
Plants on top, and then their feet go past in their back.
And they're in the back seat.
You want to swing and reach, but you want to flick and get your pole plant. You want to get your pole tip out there as far as possible.
A little bit over the tip, right, on the back side.
Because otherwise, if you try to get your pole tip out there, you would have to reach your hand this far, which would be too much. So if you get your hand out as far as is comfortable, as natural, then a little flick.
On the other side,
and you're looking good.
Mogul tip of the day.
Sergey Suplitsov gets credit for that. He was bad.
Lake Tahoe is the home to some fantastic skiing. Have you ever wondered what it's like? Take another look at Warren Miller Entertainment's adventure to Squaw Valley, California.
Yeah, my dad taught me how to ski in Squaw Valley. Back when he worked at the race services, he would be like, all right, you guys can go ski there so I can sit in the office and I can keep an eye on you.
Timmy was this little kid with just so much air sense. He just always landed on his feet.
I don't know what it is. It could be the water, it could be the mountains, or the energy that's around here, but it's there, and it's one of those things that I'm not willing to let it go. You know, it's kind of like the mountain lets you have it, and you know, your ability lets you get down it.
Skiing was my daycare. Just a ton of people who were willing to share things with you, and an amazing training ground, I think.
Mighty Mice wasn't so much hardcore technical training as it is teaching the skiing experience. When I was probably 12 years old and Johnny was 19, I'll never forget this backflip he threw in a Chute 75. He was just hero status in my book.
At Squaw Valley, we take the passing of our torches pretty seriously. I'm stoked I inspired JT in some small way. But I never quite let go of the torch because I'm saving it for this guy.
What I think about skiing is it's an individual sport, and it's you just going out and finding that harmony with the mountain.
I've been skiing here at Squaw Valley since 1949, never missed a year.
My father-in-law, Jack Walsh, at 93, is now finding his threshold.
Thought I would have kicked the bucket about 20 years ago, but I didn't. To tell you the truth, I think I'm enjoying skiing more now than I ever did.
Legends like Jack don't necessarily pass their torches. They let guys like Tom carry it for a while, but then they ask for it back because they're not quite done with it.
I don't know what it is about skiing that keeps me just doing it year after year. It's a certain feeling, I think, that's just really hard to describe, and it hits you, and when it does, you know it.
Not only is it my home and the place that I grew up, but it's just this place that encompasses everything that I could possibly want.
I'm so glad you're here. I know at first it all was weird, but now I couldn't live without. I'm happy you've joined this ride.
All you, it's your time, it's your moment to be skiing and living in the present.
Today's generation of Squaw Valley Rippers has its own style and energy, which it will pass on to the next one, along with seemingly tall tales about the winter that never ended.
In Squaw Valley, you're never far away from your friends. There's always a crew of skiers around and about.
It's a privilege and it's also an honor, and being able to have this as my grassroots and home. It's a great way of life.
My mom and dad and brother used to head off to the ski area before I was old enough to go, and I just knew that they were going somewhere that must have been fun because they came back every day with a smile on their face, so it really had a hold on me. That's all I really wanted to do.
Never left the mountain and thought, damn, I shouldn't have gone skiing today. It's never happened to me.
That's it for Snow Motion this week. Now get out there and make some turns. I'm Brenda Piglione, and we'll see you next time.
Would it be easier if we had no shoes, no time to kill, and nothing to lose, and no worries but the great blue sky, and looking for shade when the sun gets high, or climbing up that coconut tree. If it's time for one of nature's treats, would it be easy?